We are now in Lambrook Street, and this is the Methodist church built in 1861. This Victorian fountain has a small reservoir behind it. They had to build this because the town's water supply at that time was 400 years old, so a little bit knackered. These Victorian terrace houses are built of Glastonbury brick. They were built in a field that was the site originally of the Abbey Bell Foundry. We've arrived at Launder Close. Over there, that Georgian house is built on the site of the Abbey Laundry. It is also built over a stream and has suffered subsidence as a result. This is the old vicarage. They built it for 900 quid with money from the Queen Anne dowry. This is because the Abbey had nicked the vicar's endowment, leaving them poorer than the proverbial church mouse. The 18th century cottage there is Chilkwell, and next to it is the first purpose-built chapel in town. Silver Street here was originally inside the Abbey precinct, the original northern wall being further to the right. However, this wall here along the eastern edge is original. It is thought the lowest stones date from the rebuilding after the fire of 1184. This archway was made in 1825 to give access to Abbey House. Designed by the well-known illustrator John Buckler, it was built for Fry Reeves, a rich banker in town. This building was a solicitor's from 1840 until sometime last year. It has also housed the offices of the Drainage Authority and at one time Glastonbury Canal. And here's a bonus. A quick view over the Abbey wall, courtesy of a long camera pole. You don't get freebies in there very often. And here we are at the entrance to Bere Lane. At one point, the entrance into town guarded by toll houses. This is the Abbey barn, built around 1340 to store produce from the Abbey estates. Farm buildings and a house were added in Victorian times. Until recently, meadows came right up to the barn from the River Brew. It now houses the Somerset Rural Life Museum and is well worth a visit. I will make a video here when it reopens. These houses stand on old farmland called Actis. Like the Abbey barn, this land went down to the River Brew. The old Buckley Road here was the turnpike road across the moors. In the distance you can see the Polden Hills and the Hood Monument, not to be confused with the new Buckley Road, which was built in the early 1800s. During construction they uncovered many graves here which were thought to be those of suicide victims, which traditionally were buried on unconsecrated ground by a crossroads outside the town. Here we're looking back along Bere Lane where we've just been with the touring distance, and that's New Buckley Road. The road to the right is Hill Head, which leads to Weariall Hill. This is Abbey Park with its large chestnut trees and is built on the site of a farm that used to farm the Abbey land for 300 years. This house, built of blue light stone, was the town's first nursing home, built to commemorate the Jubilee of Queen Victoria. Here is another of Glastonbury's wonderful murals. They're everywhere. This is the site of the chain gate that secured the southern entrance of the town for many years. Next to the chain gate is Abbey Grange, built in 1713 using materials from the abbot's lodgings, but then being demolished. This overflow is from the Abbey precinct. This is the entrance to St Margaret's Chapel and the almshouses. I'll come back here when it reopens. This pump house was hurriedly built in 1752 when the healing properties of Chalice well water were discovered. In the late 1880s, this house was the home of J.G.L. Bully, one of the town's most eminent Victorians. He was so disturbed by his father's involvement in the Glastonbury Canal failure, he tossed himself from the tower of St John's Church. It was his son who later went on to discover Glastonbury Lake Village. St Mary's Church was built in 1939. Next to the church was the convent of St Louis for most of the 20th century until its closure. The church houses the restored shrine of Our Lady of Glastonbury. For the many years I've lived here, I've always wondered why anybody would build a house as butt ugly as this one. Answers on a postcard, please. This august pile was Somerset House, headquarters of Somerset County Constabulary and all things plod related in Somerset. Built here as Glastonbury was then centre of Somerset in those days. And that brings us full circle to where we started, with the town hall over there. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll be making some more. To finish off and have a bit of fun, here's some shots I did with my 360 camera.